Hi. This is Affirmed, a new podcast telling stories of the trans experience. I'm your host, Valerie. Welcome. Glad to have you tuning in. Okay, so this is the first episode. I figure this will just be sort of an introduction to myself and sort of what the podcast will be about. So, like I said, I'm Valerie. I'm a trans woman. I'm in my 30s, and I actually didn't discover myself, my true self, until probably 3 years ago now. So definitely a late bloomer when it came to self-discovery. And I'll definitely get into that, get into my past, and talk about how I discovered myself. Every trans person, of course, is different. Our stories are different, but there is lots of overlap. I am someone that discovered myself very late. And yeah, the last 3 years have been wild, a little bit of a roller coaster, but they've also been so filled with just joy and excitement and appreciation, gratitude, but definitely some hard times in there as well. So yeah, I will sometimes have a co-host in here. My wonderful wife Celia will sometimes join me. For today, I'm just gonna start off with just myself, and I'm hoping at some point to get some regular guests on the show as well, talk about stories from other trans people's perspectives, but also allies and partners of trans people, and yeah, just trying to really educate people on what life is like as a trans person. Of course, these days there's a lot of hate out there. It's very scary starting this, being somewhat of a public, visible trans person on the internet brings a lot of hate. And so, this is definitely something that is, a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but I want to be able to use my voice to bring light to the trans experience. And, if this podcast can help even one person, find themselves or help them, out of a hard time, or just inspire even one person to be more authentically themselves, and whatever that means, whether they're trans or not. But just to be themselves, be the person that they want to be, the person that they see in their head, to actually be that person. That's really my goal here. And I find that a lot of the hate that comes out is actually from folks who have never met a trans person in their life. They don't know anyone in real life. They've only heard, about trans people on the news and, of course, all over social media. There's all the anti-trans bills in the States that have been going on, and all the anti-trans rhetoric that happens in, Canada as well, over in the UK, as they like to say, Turf Island. So it's kind of, feels like it's everywhere at times. But I do really feel like a lot of these people just don't know anyone trans. And so they make up their minds about us, and that's it. And so really trying to, humanize us, show that we're just like anyone else. We're just living our lives how, it brings us joy to live our lives. We're not harming other people, and yeah, I think that is really something that can help, combat the hate. Because, yeah, it can be difficult at times when you see all the hate to figure out how you can fight back. And, I'm really guilty of this, where I argue with them all the time. And it's tough emotionally to put your energy into that, and it feels like it never does any good. And so this is a new approach that I think, if there is someone who has some questions or is unsure about what it's like to be a trans person, then if this can bring them a little bit of information to show that, yeah, we are we are human beings. We are deserving of love and respect, just as anyone else. And so, yeah. So this podcast, like I said, we'll tell my story, hoping to tell other stories as well. I'd love to get some other folks from a variety of backgrounds on here as well. And so if you're interested in chatting about your experience, especially as, say, a trans masc person or non-binary person, I'd love to make sure I get all the perspectives that I can told on here. So feel free to reach out to me through my Instagram. It's just affirmed_trans experience. And yeah, so this show, I'm hoping to put out episodes that are relatively short. I know it can be tough to listen to podcasts that are, an hour, 2 hours, 3, 4 hours long. And sometimes those are great. But I'm hoping that I don't end up just a rambling mess on here. And I'll try to keep the episodes shorter, 15, 20 minutes, little bite-sized kind of snacks that you can listen to as you go about your day or in the car or whatever. I don't yet know sort of when I'll be putting out episodes. It'll just kind of be as I get to them for now. I'd love to get more of a regular schedule in the future. But for now, I've just got so much going on. I don't want to commit to that. And yeah, I'll just see how this first few episodes go. Okay, so I think for this first one, really, I just want to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about me, and then, next episode we can kind of get into a little bit more detail of, how I discovered myself and my background, that kind of thing. But yeah, I guess just the basics. Like I said, I'm in my 30s. I didn't discover myself until my early 30s. I had no idea, no inkling that I was trans. I thought for probably about 27, 28, 29 years, I thought I was a cisgender, heterosexual male. And for those that don't know, cis is simply an antonym of trans. It's the opposite. So trans, someone who is trans identifies with a gender that is not congruent with the sex that they were assigned at birth. And cisgender means you're on the same side of. Trans is the other side of. Cis is the same side of. And so cis just means you identify with the same sex that you were assigned at birth. And of course, as we all probably know, you get your sex assigned at birth simply from someone, taking a look at you when you're born, seeing your external genitalia and going, that's your sex. Sex is far more complicated than that, biological sex, and happy to get into these kind of discussions in the future. But then there's also gender on top of that, which is a social construct. And, that's more, sex is like male and female, intersex as well. But commonly, most people only know about male or female and that's it. And then man and woman is actually more from the gender spectrum as well. And often people grow up just thinking there is only man or woman. But we're finding as we sort of evolve in society that, and depending on your culture and your background and the time period, that gender is a lot more complex than simply man or woman. So anyway, that was a little bit of a sort of lesson there. Hope again I'm not getting too rambly, but yeah, I thought I was cisgender, so I thought I, assigned male at birth, and I identified with that for 28-something years. And then after, in my later 20s, I started identifying as queer. And just sort of opened my mind up to, being attracted to more than just women, Of course, I have been with my wife for 18 years now, just over 18 years. We just had our anniversary last month, the end of last month. And so, of course, identifying as queer while I'm in what appeared to be a cishet, so that's cisgender heterosexual relationship, didn't really affect my life in any way. It didn't make any changes. I didn't really feel a part of the queer community. But for me, it was an important step for accepting who I am and just opening myself up to more than just the thought that I was who, people were telling me my entire life who I was. Um, and then, a few years later, when I was in my early 30s, there was an event that happened that I'll happily go into detail in another episode about. But it was like a key sort of unlocking a vault door. Um, Before that moment, I had maybe a little bit of thoughts of questioning my gender. I think a lot of this came about because I was like watching Drag Race and listening to them talk about, as they're strutting their stuff down that runway, they're talking about how powerful they feel and how beautiful they feel and how just good they feel. And I started thinking, I want that. I want to feel good about myself. I grew up sort of feeling apathy, is how I like to describe it about myself. There are a lot of trans folks, of course, that you hear their stories where, they knew since they were 2, 3 years old. Maybe they tried on, some of their parents' clothes or makeup or whatever, or they knew innately. They're like, I'm not a boy, or I'm not a girl, or I'm not either. Um, and I never had that because, well, many reasons, but definitely childhood trauma from bullying. And I'll dedicate at least a full episode to talking about that. And so when this event happened, it sort of just, yeah, it was like a key unlocking the door, and the vault door started to open, a little bit of light shining through, but I had no idea what was going on. It was confusing. It was, battling with my trauma. And yeah, it was just this sort of pivotal moment in discovering myself. And it's actually really cool too, because I actually have pictures from that time. It was a really fun night out with some friends and family. And yeah, it's what really started it all for me. And then after that, I started sort of exploring who I am, trying different clothes, presenting differently, exploring online groups for folks who are non binary and trans, and really just figuring out what it means to be me. Um, when I grew up as a kid, I never felt like me. I never felt like I had an identity. I never felt like I had a place. And as I started discovering all this, it was kind of like, oh, no, I do have a me. I do have a sense of self. It's there. I had to find it. I had to unlock it. And, I can say for sure that this journey that I've been on has been one of the most fulfilling times of my life, if not the most fulfilling time of my life. There's been a lot of challenges, but feeling like me is a feeling like I honestly cannot describe it. And just the amount of joy and euphoria and just, I can't describe it. It's looking in the mirror and feeling like me is the most wonderful feeling, that I've truly ever experienced, especially after going, 30 plus years, feeling like I don't belong and feeling like I don't have a place and that I don't know who I am. And yeah, so over the last 3 years, I've started HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and definitely we'll get into that and what that's like. I've had one gender affirming surgery actually a month and a half or so ago. That went really, really well, and I've been healing really well from that and feeling really good. Every day has been getting better and better. And I have another one actually coming up next week, and I'll talk in more details in another episode about those and gender affirming surgeries and what they're like. Um, and I guess just a little bit more about me before I close out this episode. We're already at 15 and a half minutes, so try and keep it short and not rambly. But, like I said, I'm married. My wife, Celia, we've been together for 18 years. We've been through a lot. And I am so, so beyond thankful and grateful and appreciative to have her in my life and supporting me through this journey. I don't know if I would be here if it wasn't for her. She's, been an amazing. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. She's been an amazing support by my side. She's my best friend, and I can't imagine going through life without having her right there with me. I've got two kids. Well, we've got two kids. One of them is 8, and she's got special needs, and one of them just turned 2, and they're both just so wonderful, and the light of my life. There's so many times where I'm just sitting with them and I can just feel my heart wanting to explode with joy and love because they're just so amazing. But they're kids and they're learning and they're growing and they're getting into trouble. And so we definitely have a busy life wrangling them. We have 2 cats. Oz is our eldest. She's 19 years old. Celia got her the year before we got together. So she's old, a little bit of a cranky old lady, but she's actually doing really well. She's healthy for her age. And then we have Xena, who's a year older than our daughter, and she's still just like a little baby. Sweetest little cat. The both of them just love, cuddles and attention. And I'm sure that as I'm recording, they will pop in from time to time and be demanding attention. Let's see, what else outside of that? I play video games, less so now than I used to. We'll get into this a lot. Video games were an escape growing up, and so I played a lot of video games growing up, and I lived a lot of my life through escaping. And so I play a little bit less now, but I still do enjoy video games. We've got PS5s, I've got a Switch and a Steam Deck computer, all those kind of fun things. I also paint Warhammer, so little miniature toys that you can play tabletop war games with. I got into this in 2020 when the world shut down because it was a hobby you can actually still do with the world shut down. And I've been painting that for about 5 years or so. I have a massive, ridiculous collection. And I have trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 6 or so years. I've kind of taken a break over the last year as I've been discovering myself even more. But yeah, I trained for six plus years. I'm a purple belt. I've taught or helped teach and even taught one of my own kids classes. I did for 6 to 9 months teach my own adult classes too. Just fell in love with the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. For anyone looking for physical activity and a martial art that can be used to defend yourself, especially if you're on the smaller side. It is very, very good for that. Here comes Xena. I'm sure you'll hear her in just a minute. She's very vocal about wanting her attention. Hi, sweetie. Do you want to say hi? Yeah, that's Xena, our little sweetheart. Um, yeah, I stopped training last year, about a year, just over a year ago, as I was, not fully out and felt like I was living two lives and sort of got tired of that. Wanted to explore something else, explore something that would help me find my femininity and my womanhood. And so I found Heels Dance, and that has just been a wild and life changing, hobby or art to get into. I never thought I could dance before, dancing in grade school, when they put on plays and stuff, and you have to dance, and I hated every moment of it, and I'm like, I'm not good at this. But as I get older, I'm realizing that a lot of the things I thought I wasn't good at was simply because I just didn't do them, or I didn't care about them, didn't think I was going to be good at them, didn't practice. And so with a little practice, I'm realizing that there is so much more that I can do. And yeah, so I've been in two shows so far with your dance class here in Toronto. Cannot say enough wonderful things about YDC, and the two wonderful women that own that studio, and their community. They have given me so many, positive and wonderful and amazing things in my life. So can't thank them enough. And then I've also been in a music video program to get my own personal music video. That was so much fun. Did that with another studio in Newmarket, Studio XIV. They are another just amazing, wonderful studio. And yeah, hoping to be in another show this fall, if I'm healed enough from my upcoming surgery. But yeah, Heels Dance. It's such an amazing thing to find your own confidence in your own body, explore your sensuality, explore your femininity, your womanhood, and find an amazing community. So if you're ever interested in trying that out, I highly recommend that as well. I'm trying to learn to draw. That's another thing that I thought I was crap at as a kid and really wanted to do, and just didn't, because I just didn't believe in myself. And so I'm not saying I'm good, but I am practicing and putting my focus into this because I really want to be good at drawing and art. I love tattoos. I think last year I got 14 tattoos, I think it was. I just a couple weeks ago got a full leg sleeve done, which was a wild and life-changing experience, and I'll happily talk about that. But that was one of those pivotal moments in my life that helped me build my confidence and helped me feel more like me. And I had two incredible artists work on the sleeve over 3 days at a convention. And yeah, I'll definitely talk a lot more about that because I can't shut up enough about it. It's another life-changing experience. But yeah, love tattoos. Got a leg sleeve, got the start of an arm sleeve, got my other arm mostly filled up, some hand tattoos, and some other stuff on my other leg. So love everything to do with tattoos. They're just another form of self-expression that has really helped me feel like me. So we're just about 25 minutes. So I think I am going to leave it here. That, was a little bit of an introduction to myself and the podcast. So yeah, I think next episode I will start kind of going a little bit more into detail about how I discovered myself, and kind of go from there. But thanks everyone for tuning in and all of the support. Everyone has been just so amazing since I mentioned that I was going to start this, and it's because of all of you that I had the confidence to do this. And honestly, I think it's going to be a wonderful thing for me, and it's going to help me in so many ways. We'll get into voice training at some point. I've been doing that for several years now, but I always hated my voice before, and I've been learning to love it as I've changed my voice. And so I think this is going to be another one of those things that'll just help me there. But anyway, we're at 25 minutes, so I'll let you all go. Thanks for tuning in.